These blinged up bamboo serving spoons are some of my top sellers at art and craft shows. I cannot keep them in stock. These are really, really good sellers. I buy these on Amazon. They cost about $1 a piece, and I sell them for a really, really good profit. These are fun to make. They're easy. I'm always inspired by the beach because that's where I live, but you know what? You could make these in any color you want, any combination you want. So follow along, see how I do it. Let's go. You should know by now that I'm a pretty messy painter. So the first thing I did, I just took some painter's tape and taped off the base of the spoon so that I would not get any paint or anything on the base. I've got my spoons all on this piece of plywood attached on there with tape. That way I can paint one side and then be able to flip them over and paint the other side. So right now I'm just going to paint this side. I've got a silicone match here to catch the drips. I have not prepped or sanded these spoons. I don't really think I need to do that. And I'm going to go in with some Dollar Tree paints. This is Dollar Tree Deep Blue, Dollar Tree Teal. This one has already been mixed up with Floetrol. This teal has not. I'm going to use it straight out of the bottle. I'm going to mix up a little bit of titanium white, Floetrol. There is not a right way or wrong way to do this, just like there's not a right way or wrong way to mix your paints. You mix your paints the way you want to, use the colors that you want to. I started out using a stick to move the paint around, and then I got smart and just used a gloved hand, which was a lot quicker. Started out trying to do a little swipe with various colors. I mean, it did work, but honestly, it did not give me that magical, celly appearance like a normal swipe would, even when I used a little paper towel. It's pretty, but it just didn't give me the look I was going for. So then I just took my stick and started making designs and having fun. There are so many different ways that you could apply paint. You could blow it out with a hairdryer. I just chose to blow it out with my mouth just to really spread the paint around. But you know, you are not limited to any one design. You're not limited to any one technique. You could use a hairdryer to blow the paint out. You could use one of those little handheld mini, what do you call it? Leaf blowers. Those are really cute. I've seen those on Amazon. I don't have one, but so now what I'm doing is just taking a little bit of paint on my stick, kind of the white paint, and trying to do a little mini swipe on the back. And I know the angle is really, really bad. That's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to clean up the back a little bit. And it turned out pretty well. Like when I flipped this thing over, and you'll see that in a minute, when I flip it over, there really is very, very little cleanup that I need to do on the back sides of these spoons.
Flip these over. The top is not completely dry, but it's dry enough where it's not going to drip if I flip them over. I'm really anxious to see what they're going to look like and if they're going to fall. Okay. So I have a couple of little gaps.
So once I got everything flipped over, I just took leftover paint and just covered up all my little boo-boos. And I had made a set of spoons prior that I didn't record, so I did the same with those two.
Okay, so now I just need to wait for these to dry, and then we can put the resin on.
My little jig kind of worked okay. Really happy with that little experiment on both of them. So this was the first set I made. This was the second set I made. You gotta be careful flipping it over though. Now I just need to embellish. So that's what this segment is about. So I'm gonna put resin on all of these. And that's really, really gonna bring out the shine. It's gonna give it the extra finishing touch, okay?
But I want to do a couple of other things too to kind of finish them and take them to the next level. These aren't just regular serving spoons. So I want to just make them a little bit extra. All right, so I have a roll of aluminum craft wire, and I bought this on Amazon. I will put a link in the description. And then I have just some various beads that I find these at thrift stores. I always look for them at thrift stores. I look for them at yard sales. And you know, they're necklaces. I buy the necklaces and I take them apart because, you know, these are really cute little beads. I have paper beads, all kinds of. I always look for blue and I look for greens. This is one that I just recently found. I just haven't taken it apart yet. So, and then I also have my little sea turtle and starfish charms. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of dress these up with various. I'm probably going to put, I don't know, maybe probably three charms per spoon, per utensil, and try to just make them a little bit different. When I put the charms on, I'm going to put the charms on the side of the spoon that, I don't know if I'm making sense, that faces up. So like the spoon has the spoon part, and so the charms are going to be on that front part, if that makes sense. I think it makes sense. And then what I'm going to do, once I have all of them wired on, then I will put resin on them. So these I'm going to go ahead and wire and then put resin, and then my other set charms without wiring, maybe not. I don't know, I just feel like the wire really adds a little bit. So what I do with my wire, I'll just try to cut more than I think I'm gonna need. So this is probably 3 feet of wire. So I'm gonna double up. This is just how I do it. You don't have to do it this way. This will get me started. I'm gonna put it through the hole. Make a loop, and then put my ends through the loop and pull it tight. Just like that. Then start stringing. I don't like to cover up the hole because sometimes people do, they want to hang them. And just keep your wire tight. And then if you have a problem with the hole in the bead not being big enough, you may not be able to double up your wire, but I've only had that instance in a couple of times. You don't want to pull too hard because you could break your wire. So I just wrap around 2 times for each one, pulling tight, and try to get your wire lined up there. And then remember I am going to be putting resin on this, so that is in itself going to tighten up and secure the wire a little bit more. And my spoon is about to fall. Here, I don't want to put too much more on here because I want these to be functional as well as pretty. And so I'm just going to keep working this around. And then when I flip it over,
this is what it looks like on the back. And then I'm going to pull it as tight as I can. And then what I'm going to do here is when I put the resin on, I'm going to put a little bit of UV resin on the back to secure the wire. And then I'm going to snip the wire off. So you're not going to see the end of the wire at all. So there is one. And we're just going to repeat that with the others. All right, let's do this one. I'm going to leave this tape on because I am going to be resining. So I'm going to get a length of this wire. And you know, there are many, many different ways that you could wire wrap these. You don't have to do it this way that I'm doing. I just like to just try different things. So let's do a different way. But I doubled up the wire and then I made a loop at one end. I'm going to pass the ends of the wire through the loop and then pull it tight. Now I want my beads to be on the top of my spoon. Oh, just popped off there. I'm gonna snip the ends off just to make them even. So I'm just twisting around each time I put on a bead. I'm twisting the wire around the base of the spoon. I haven't beaded one of these in a while, so I'm having to kind of reteach myself. Okay, and then I'm just gonna twist it around 1 or 2 times. Pull it tight as you go. And then I'm gonna put this one on there, like this one. And probably have pulled off a little bit too much of this wire. It seems like I have a lot. And my needle nose pliers here. I'm just going to pull just like that. Actually, I'm going to wrap this around one more time. It doesn't really matter. And you can kind of move around if it doesn't quite fit right. There we go. And then just pull your wire tight, just like that. That's all you need. And then I'm gonna just put a little dot of epoxy on there and move on to the next one. Once I had my baubles wired up, I just used the same tape and taped them back onto the 2x4. Now remember the ones in the back right here, so those are the ones that I'm not going to wire on the beads. I am going to resin on the beads. So pop these over to the back. I'm going to pop some UV resin on the back just to hold this wire in place. My very durable and very well used little UV resin curing light from Let's Resin, and then Light Wish UV resin. And all I'm going to do is pop a little bead on the back just to hold this wire in place. That's all I'm doing. It's just to hold the wire in place. I think I'm going to go ahead and snip it. So I don't want there to be any rough edge, but I want this wire to stay put. Now I am going to be putting resin on this whole piece, but I don't want the wire to be flopping all around like a fish. Okay, normally when I'm working with a UV resin that needs UV resin curing light, I can pop it outside and cure it in the sun, but it is not sun shining today. So just gonna leave these under the light for a little bit longer. So I'm done with that for now. I'll go ahead and mix up some resin to give these a coat, and I think I only need 20. I'm gonna mix up 40 just in case. I am gonna use the KSRESIN Liquidy Split, which is a fast set. And I'm not gonna put a very thick coat on this at all. It is gonna be pretty much a skim coat. And I'm a little bit nervous because this isn't on my tumbler turner, so I'm gonna have to really watch the drips, and then also make sure I don't knock this thing off of my little platform. Yep, just got a drip. All right, let's see if I can flip this over without losing these spoons. Don't think I'm gonna be able to. Nope. It's a miracle. Okay. Missed a couple of spots there. That's okay. I am putting them on top of the charms also because it helps to seal them in, but it also just finishes it. It makes it look a little bit more polished, and I kind of like it. That one's dripping, but I knew it would. I knew some of these would drip, so I'm going to come back in just a little bit and just run my finger under. I can do that just to kind of catch any drips. And I'll probably come back and do that a couple more times. Since I have some resin left over, I'm going to go ahead and resin these also. And I really needed to do them
I have these flipped over, so I'm going to flip these back around this way because I want to put the charms on the top side. So I hope this works. We will see. So I'm not going to wire these charms on. I'm just going to try putting them on these spoons while the resin is still wet, but maybe still a little bit soft, but firmed up enough where the charms won't fall off. Look how that works so well. Really, really shines it up. Make sure to get their ends, the ends. Okay, I am going to take my glove off because it's getting messy. And now I'm going to pick out some of my charms and then some of my beads. And I'm just going to start placing them where I want. See, I missed that one. I still have some of these that I could use that don't have a little loop on them. I might have to snip this off. No, that one's good. Thought I had a starfish. There it is. Now I'm going to just take the rest of this resin and try to kind of dome the top a little bit. I don't know if that's gonna, it's a little thick, like it's already gotten really thick. So this resin is going to keep these baubles in place.
All I'm doing in this next step is just using up the rest of the resin in the cup, which is now nice and thick. I'm putting a little bit extra on top of the beads and then just drizzling on top of the spoon to use up all the resin. And I did have to babysit the drips just a little bit, just so I didn't have, you know, big globs of resin dripping off the ends. And surprisingly enough, I did not have an issue with a whole lot of drips. But I did take my heat gun just to do a quick sweep and pop some bubbles, and then did a one final sweep for drips before I let them cure overnight. I am so totally thrilled with how these turned out. Look at that. Look how pretty. Can you see? Love it. Love it. I think I like the ones that I wired a little bit better. I think wiring them on just makes them look a little, I don't know, to me it just looks a little bit more polished. Now this one's really cute. I like that one, but it just, I don't know, it just makes it look a little bit more finished. Now here's the difference. So this is the one that I wired on and then, you know, put the resin over the wire versus the unwired. So I'm just gonna test them both out and see how they do at the shows. Don't really even have any drips on the backs. I do have a little bit of cleanup to do around the edge. Tape bled just a little bit. Let me know what you think. This is a really fun, good profit. They don't take very long to make. So I made 12 of these. I'll probably sell from, I don't know, probably $10, $12, $15. And it's a very high profit and it's a lot of fun. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. What would you do differently? What should I do differently next time? I have a plan for next time. I'm gonna do another video next time. You'll see. Thanks for watching. See ya. Bye.